What? You can't say that. Unacceptable?
Like unacceptable.
Anything above 32. No.
That is a bit mad, I have to say.
Yeah. Thankfully, there was no NBA at first.
It's the Yappers.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to Yappers, episode 2, baby. Let's go.
Hi.
Yeah, so we're back. Hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. We're obviously sorting out like some technical kinks and stuff with like audio and the lighting, and we're testing things out. It's episode 1, so bear with us.
Teething problems.
Yeah, exactly. Baby steps and shit. So, but yeah. Anyway, we're back. And Mia, how's life been?
I moved recently,
Sick.
which was eye-opening. I've decided that I may have to convert to minimalism down the line.
Okay.
I have so many trinkets, and like I'm a huge Pop Mart collector. And I also collect bunny themed items. So anything that's like bunny and cute, I will collect. I've got mugs, I've got figures, I've got like trays, I've got everything.
Sick.
And it's a lot. It's actually a lot.
I mean, I can imagine too.
Having to box it all up was, yeah.
I remember moving like to this place and stuff, and like it's always just so like long having to like. It's just like such a stressful process.
I also had way more books than I thought.
Oh, bro. Nah, don't even get me started on that shit.
I might have to get a Kindle. Like I've always been like anti ebook.
I was gonna say,
because like I love holding a real book and really seeing it. But I think I'm gonna have to tell myself, like, unless the cover's really cute, I need to like get a grip.
Fair. I mean, I like our unofficial third host Ida isn't here today, but when she has a magazine collection of like, like Dazed and like all the Vogues and all of that, and they're
so
thick.
heavy.
They're like thick with a double C.
No, because like yeah. I don't really collect magazines, but I've got a couple editions of Vogue and I've got a couple magazines that I'm in because like it's my work.
Yeah,
so,
fair.
It's always good to like collect it. But even those couple were like so heavy.
Now imagine like
I can't imagine
a collection. Imagine like a suitcase worth of that shit.
Oh my god, that's
and we had
so
to bring
heavy.
that, and we were legit like, "Yo, get rid of it! Like, it's just there." And she was like, "Never." So now it's just there, and guess what? It's not even on display. It's like fully just like in little stacks here and there, and like in suitcases over there. So I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain.
I might have to be anti-coffee table book as well after this.
Ooh, but a coffee table book like adds so much, though.
I think the problem is that because of the line of work I'm in, I do get gifted quite a lot of them.
Fair.
And sometimes it's not necessarily something I'm interested in as well. So I feel, but it's so pretty that I'm like, I have to keep it. But then I'm like, it's not really doing much.
Out of all the coffee table books out there that are in people's homes, I want to know like what the statistic is of like how much people have actually read it. Like, is it just there because it looks pretty, or do people actually read it? I don't know. I mean,
I'm trying to think. So the coffee table books that I have that I've read would be, I got a Chanel one on my trip to Edinburgh. Cute. And I read that in my hotel room because that's where it was. And then I also have, I have a Wes Anderson one.
Cute.
Which I read because I bought that myself
fair,
and was
fair,
like,
fair.
I want this. Like I went to the Asteroid City exhibit and was like, I want this.
Okay, sick.
The one coffee table book that I really, really want is I think it's Yoshito Nara, the art book.
Okay. Who's Nara?
I think.
Why does that name ring a bell?
She had an exhibition in London a couple years back.
Okay.
If I show you her art, you'll recognize her.
All right, cool. I'll flash it on screen right now. Okay, sick. I don't know. I'm like a huge fan of coffee table books as well. Like I think like they just add so much like oomph to a space, and like, it allows like people to know a little bit about you and like your taste. And it's like, me personally, I make sure that we get coffee table books that we're actually interested in. But I know so many people that like just get like random books because they look cool. Or, like they're hype beast books.
Yeah, I feel like I want. So the kind of like coffee table books that I'd want to collect
Yeah.
are the kind of like mini gallery ones. Like
Cute.
I treat them as like
Cute,
a
cute,
mini
cute.
gallery,
Yeah,
which
sick.
is why I like the art books or the exhibition books and
Sick.
stuff like that. I really want the Sofia Coppola one.
Sick. Yeah, I've seen it.
I got it for my friend for
Lit.
his birthday, and I was like, I got you the Bible because
Sick.
Sofia Coppola
it's
like
amazing.
is his religion.
Yeah, I think I was like looking at it in a bookshop recently as well. I was like so close. No, it's sick.
I know the Heaven store sells it. It's like physically, if you were looking for it.
I mean, I think that coffee table books are just like, I don't know. I feel like obviously as a photographer and stuff, like all my work is mainly like online and stuff and yada, yada, yada. But
would you come out with a coffee table book?
I mean, I did actually. I did like a couple years ago. I did like a small limited run, and I can't lie, that experience like scarred me because like working with a printer was just like so annoying, and they were just inept, and I hated them. But eventually, I do want to re-release one or like do a proper one. But like as an artist, I feel like it's just so much nicer to have something tangible and just like being able to flip the pages and be like, wow, like seeing it on screen versus seeing it in real life, like in a book or like as a print, world of difference.
Oh,
world
definitely.
Of difference.
Seeing things in print or like in real life is so much more fun.
100%. Yeah, I feel that.
I like going out and spotting my modeling in the wild.
Oh,
it's really
cute.
fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, to be fair, like I can imagine that'd be sick. Like just
it's
seeing.
Pretty fun. But it also got there was one summer where I'd worked a lot, so I was really lucky. But I had like 3 campaigns come out at the same time. And there was one point, like, I don't know what station it was, but I had 2 tube billboards at the same time.
Sick.
And I was like, and all my friends that were like commuting to work just kept sending me pictures of it. And I was like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick.
Really funny.
Yeah, I can imagine, to be fair. I mean, I can imagine to be sick, but also like surreal, you know, seeing yourself like.
Yeah.
Or do you just get used to it, I guess?
It's really surreal at first. And you're like, especially because for this one, I didn't actually know it was going to be a tube billboard. I was never told. I just got paid the usage and that was it. And then like, I think was getting the train and I was like, oh, that's me. That's me.
Wait a second.
That's me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And of course I took a picture. I sent it to everyone I knew. And then, but the problem was, well, it wasn't a problem, but I'd say it ran for like months and months. So obviously like, 6 months down the line, I was still getting texts from people being like, hey, I just saw you. And I was like, yeah, I know.
Nah, fair. But yeah, anyway, back. So okay. So you were moving and now are you still like living in like a Tetris freaking room of boxes and shit?
So I was really lucky. My parents helped me move in. And my mum
must be nice.
My mum is like she is a task woman. Like she got everything in and then she immediately unpacked my kitchen. Like literally as soon as I moved in,
that's what you want.
My kitchen was like ready to go.
Sick.
So I didn't have to worry about like finding stuff for like cooking and cleaning.
Okay, good.
The only thing left at the moment though is like trinkets.
Fair.
And like clothes.
Okay, cute.
Just trying to work out like where I'm gonna use like this storage for that, this storage for this.
Storage.
Like, organizing where I'm putting things. Also at the moment, my bathroom is just in boxes. Like you just go into the bathroom and you're like, go for that
There's
box.
A hole.
That's the hair care box. That's the nail care box. And like that's the medical box. Just take your pick.
Fair. Are you like, have you like, is it furnished or?
I was really lucky it came furnished.
Sick. Okay.
And I also got a little bit extra because the tenants before me left behind like
cute.
a huge chest of drawers and
storage.
Literally,
yes,
and
free
like,
storage.
This super useful like shoe rack come coat rack, and it was perfect. I was like, yes, give it to me. I'll take it.
Sick. All right. Are you gonna like design it in any way? Like, what's your design aesthetic?
Maybe a little bit. I feel like I've always been quite girly. I think when it comes to like interior design, but I do love like the Muji. You know,
the Muji aesthetic is lit. To be fair, the Muji aesthetic is lit.
Very clean, like the bamboo, the oak, and the white.
No,
like
it's clean. It's minimal. It's that the Japan look.
I like to kid myself that if my space is like clean and minimal, my brain is like that.
I feel like the Japan, like the Muji aesthetic works, but I don't know, man. Like
it has to be done in a certain way.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
I know exactly what you mean. Because
Right?
like I've seen it done before by people and it just looks really like kitschy and overdone.
Yeah.
But then other people I see it and I'm like, oh, that's so classy. I want to be like them.
Like I had a best friend and he was living in Berlin. And when we went to his flat, it was legit like Muji showroom vibes. And like I thought he did it really well.
Okay.
But like then I saw like another friend recently and their place was legit like trying to be Muji showroom vibes, but you're just there like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like this looks kind I don't know. I feel like it's like such a fine line. I think you can like nail the aesthetic and really minimal, but I don't think I'd be able to live efficiently in that minimal, you know, setup.
I know what you mean.
Like I try to be minimal, and I think like in comparison to Ida, at least I'm a lot more minimal. She's like a maximalist to a T.
Ida is just like buying. Oh, Ida and her mugs.
Oh, bruh. Nah, don't even give me that.
That's a whole thing.
She's got like 20 mugs already. But genuinely, like, I'm more minimal than her, but I like statement pieces. Like I like pops of color here and there. And that's like where we kind of align our design aesthetics at least. So I like to have like minimal spaces, but then I'll be like, right, let's have like a fucking crazy, wacky pink or yellow like lamp or whatever.
I've got my eye on a red IKEA trolley. I'm trying to figure out like if I need it yet because like I don't want to overcrowd the space.
True.
I think my design pet peeve is when a place is overcrowded.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it really ruins the vibe.
100%. And I think like that's so hard to navigate as well. Like I think that's already showing like, you know, you have like a plan at least. Like when we first moved in, we're like, right, we're gonna get
we'll buy this, we'll buy that.
This, bada bing, bada boom. But like, yeah, I agree what you like overcrowd. Like it just gives
space to breathe.
It just gives like hoarder vibes, low key.
Yeah, so
I feel that.
The previous tenants in my place were really lovely.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they were hoarders.
But I did have to view the apartment when they were still living there.
Okay.
And they had Tetrised in a lot of furniture.
Okay.
They clearly had a lot of belongings and were using it for storage. But it was a lot. Okay. So like you walk in and there's like a little hallway bit where as soon as you walk into my apartment, they had like drawers and shoe racks and cupboards like either side. Okay. So it like halved the space of the hallway completely. Oof. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah, now that's already giving me like,
and immediately you're
anxiety.
Like, oh, this is tight.
Yeah, tight fit.
Yeah, that was how I felt, which I think encouraged me to be like, I need to be very mindful of the amount of furniture I put in here because
for sure,
it's very easy to overcrowd it.
Have you ever seen that YouTube channel called Little Spaces or Small Spaces or something?
Yeah, my brother's obsessed with like
Bruh, I love that show. It's legit like it's like set in Japan and it's like just freaking people utilizing their small spaces and
this is the thing. I love East Asian architecture because it's just so efficient
and smart and like
I need that.
Yeah, nah, I feel you. I think like it's just I feel like I like the Japanese minimal look for sure, like I said, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of the time people do it, it just lacks character, it lacks personality. That's what I'm saying.
A little bit. I do like it minimal, but I want it to look like I live there.
Yeah, lived in is definitely like a vibe. I feel
because like I've been to places before that are so minimal that they could be like a hospital.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I went. Yeah,
and it's just so like clinical that I just feel very like.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant when I saw that guy's place. Was like this feels like. Not hospital, but like I know exactly. Yeah, exactly what you mean. Exactly, yeah.
I actually saw that for the first time.
Oh shit!
Ever?
Oh damn!
Like 2 weeks ago.
What'd you think?
It's a lot funnier than I thought it was actually.
I mean, that's the thing with like I feel like most like films and like horror films and whatnot made in the olden days usually age in that way where it's kind of like.
Yeah,
lol.
It was a lot funnier, but it was also a lot more disturbing than I expected. Actually,
okay.
I think because I'd only ever seen like popular snippets online and obviously like the memes, I had no idea what the plot was. I knew it was like making fun of like young yappies and like the consumerist culture that was going on like back then. But the scene when he like killed the dog and the cat, I was like, oh, I didn't expect that.
Fair. I mean,
And like I didn't realize he killed like so many people. Or like kill, depending on how you interpret the film. But,
fair. I mean, I haven't seen that film in so long now, but like, I remember it was definitely like, I remember it being quite disturbing, to be fair, as a kid.
Yeah.
And like I said, like last episode, like my family did expose me to like fucked up films from a very early age.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I love it. I love that shit.
Desensitize them.
Yeah, I'm so desensitized. So like, yeah, now like watching it, I probably wouldn't be like, but like,
I think I watched it. I think I was shocked because I was going in completely blind, to be honest.
Fair,
and like, like the scene with the homeless man, like it just put me so on edge because I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh yeah, he's doing what I think he's gonna do.
Fair. Yeah.
I will say though, I have to return some videotapes was a really funny bit.
I mean, I don't quite remember that scene that well. Actually.
I didn't know Chloe Sevigny was in it either, though.
Chloe Sevigny's in it?
Yeah, Chloe Sevigny is his little secretary.
Oh, damn.
The one that he's like, don't wear that outfit again.
Oh, shit.
That's who she is.
Okay. Huh.
Funny that he's saying it to Chloe Sevigny of all people. But
yeah, damn. Chloe Sevigny is an interesting, like, have you seen Zodiac?
Mm-mm.
Oh, Zodiac's a fucking sick film. It's about the Zodiac killer, naturally.
Oh.
But like, I don't know what you feel about like. Actually, this is an interesting kind of topic. What are your thoughts on like true crime movies?
Well, it's funny you say that. So earlier we were discussing the Netflix like top 10, and I wanted you to guess the third.
Oh
one.
Yeah, okay.
It's the Jeffrey Dahmer series.
Boom! Oh my god, this is perfect segue.
That's why I was like, oh, that's a choice, because I couldn't believe that was the third streamed of all time.
Okay, so number one is Wednesday, Stranger Things.
Second, Stranger Things, and then it was Dahmer.
Fuck,
which was crazy.
What are your thoughts on shows like that?
I personally don't enjoy them. I think just because it is true crime, it just unsettles me a lot.
Fair.
And I also I don't really know how I'd feel as someone if I was like related to the victims, how I would feel. And I think it really depends on how much input and control or consent that they applied to the project as well. Fair. That really matters.
Fair.
I also just, there's been conversation about whether or not it glamorizes and like it.
That's the usual
it makes like a
discourse,
whole spectacle
isn't it?
of it.
Yeah.
Which I do understand, but then at the same time, like these are the stories that people unfortunately want to hear. Bread and circuses. This is the circus that they want to see, which is tragic, but also kind of inevitable.
Yeah, I think like because I'm a huge like true crime fan. Like I listen to all the podcasts and all the YouTube videos of true crime, and it's different because like those are meant to be like documentary series.
Yeah, I think there's like ways to do it that aren't disrespectful. Like there's a lot of YouTubers that do it, and they
Rotten
cover
Mangoes.
them
Shout out to her,
them.
she's sick. I don't know, but I feel like shows like Dahmer, for example, I see and understand where a lot of the discourse and the hate is coming from.
I think it's also
criticism.
A little bit unsettling when like memes come out of it. And it's like, oh, we get it, it's the internet. But at the same time, like there were real victims involved, and it was a very real, serious crime. So the fact that people are kind of making jokes about it is just a bit like, where do we draw the line?
I think like you just need to do it with like taste and respect, obviously. And kind of like, I think it's important. This is actually kind of related to the next topic I wanted to talk about. But I was just going to say, like, I think you just need to treat it with respect, but also like I think it's important to showcase, why a criminal or someone like Dahmer,
the psyche of a criminal,
the psyche and why and how they got there. I think it's very important to kind of talk about for sure. But segueing to this topic, the other day, my best friend and I were just talking about like why movies suck, which is kind of similar to what we were talking about last episode. And we were just saying like so many villain stories now are like framed from that kind of like, oh, they were like a tortured soul and like there's like a backstory to it.
Yeah.
And we never really see villains that are like villains, right? They're always like they were abused as a child and, you know, yada, yada, yada. And obviously that's terrible. But like, you know, we were just saying like, why does every villain origin story have to be that nowadays? And I don't know. I was wondering what you thought about that.
I feel like it's that whole complex where it's like the suffering has to mean something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they feel like it has to amount to something. You know, whether the character themselves believes that or that's what the showrunners want to do. I think there is this sort of voyeuristic like pleasure that people get out of like, you know, watching suffering in TV shows and seeing it manifest into something beyond that. Like it has to mean something, that they can't have just suffered for nothing.
Right.
Otherwise it's just a tragedy.
Fair. But like, and then I don't know, and then we kind of talked about like redemption arcs and stuff as well, or like trying to make the audiences like feel like the villains are justified. And
so this is a really weird example. Cruella.
Okay.
That was a really strange retcon, in my opinion.
I wasn't a big fan of that movie.
To try and like justify like a dog killer lady. I understand why they did it. Emma Stone did an amazing job at what she did, because of course it's like, it's Emily Stone. She's going to be brilliant at it. I just don't think it was needed. Like
for me, a movie that actually did it really well was Maleficent.
Oh yeah, that was good. See, this is the problem. They did it so well. They were like, "Come on."
And that start for me, like, I think that was the movie that started. Well, not like, you know, the whole like, oh, all villains have to be understandable, but I think it really like, because that film was sick, and like I genuinely thought like, oh wow, like this is such an interesting perspective. I think it also made sense because
exactly. It's a fairy tale, so therefore there's going to be a lot of different interpretations of the fairy tale, of the folklore, of the myth itself. So it, you know, it was kind of okay for them to like mess with the canon like that. Yeah. But with Cruella, like it's very clear from the outset, from like Dalmatians 1 and 2, this is this is a crazy lady.
She evil.
Like she's just evil, and that was like the fun of it. She was camp. She was there, like. It wasn't meant to be like a tortured soul at heart. She was just like a bit of a mean dog killing lady.
Yeah, and I think that's, and like, as sad as this is, but like there are people that are just evil out there, you know? Like I feel like not every story needs to be like the Joker or Thanos or I don't know, all these like sad stories and stuff.
Did you see they're doing a Scar origin movie?
Oh yeah, and then like,
which is really crazy.
The trailer was like, Mufasa like was what? Yeah, they found like, Mufasa, and then he became the king instead of Scar or something. Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Exactly, bro,
I'd be on the side of Scar. By a random dude. I'd be Scar.
But
probably.
Then it changes the entire meaning of like the original series 100%. Because now it's like,
like again, it's like, just give us new original stories about like different kinds of villains and stuff. Like, I don't know. I just personally feel like like changing that narrative and like adding that extra bit suddenly like reframes everything we think about Mufasa. Like suddenly you're like, are you that much of a good guy, or did you like, I don't know, like.
I will say a good villain origin retcon story is Wicked.
Okay, again, but like, I feel like Wicked, like Maleficent, you know, they're like, there are exceptions, obviously. I think there are exceptions to this rule, but I just feel like right now,
I think it's the way they respected the original source material, because
there's also that. Yeah,
Wicked can very much still exist alongside the Wizard of Oz, and the canons don't necessarily interfere with each other.
Facts.
Whereas,
facts.
You know, a lot of the ones they're bringing out now just completely changes the way the original narrative is, you know, 100%. Perceived.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, if like they came out with like a movie and they're like, Hitler wasn't that bad.
Oh my God.
And you're like, oh God, okay. I don't know. I feel like they might do that for like clicks and views and shit now. You never know.
To be fair, they did do the death of Stalin.
There we go. I mean,
but that was like a dark comedy. It was actually very good.
I've heard that it was like an amazing.
It was really funny.
Yeah. I've heard good things about it.
I studied A-level history, so I studied like communist Russia, like in depth, and there are just some kind of like ridiculous like posturing and political maneuvering that went on because of the amount of fear and like distrust that was like sowed between them. And the way the film kind of played on that was just really funny.
But that was more like a like you said, it was like a comedy.
Yeah, it was like a
dark
comedy, right? And it kind of like made light.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm just waiting for someone to be like, yeah, freaking Amazon Prime picks up Adolf Hitler origin story of how because he was rejected from art school, he was tortured.
His art was really bad.
It was, exactly. He was just shit.
It was actually really bad.
And like, I don't know, someone might be like, oh, he was misunderstood, man.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I'm just like, so yeah, I feel like there's like a fine line, I think, like when it comes to villains and true crime. I think like, when it's like a true story, like, yeah, just do it with respect. But like,
I think with true stories, for me, what matters the most is how much input, you know, families of the victims or, you know, people that are actually directly involved in the matter at hand have in it, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's very, very fair. I don't know. I feel like, well, I mean, do like, okay, Ida actually says this all the time. She's really weirded out by the fact that I have like this morbid curiosity of like true crime and shit. Like,
I wouldn't say I'm weirded out. I do think that like it is like like curiosity is like deeply within all of us, hopefully anyway. Should be. And I think, you know, people can't help but want to know the like gory details of things, you know, like the whole like phenomenon of people say things like a car wreck. You should look away, but you don't want, like, you can't help it. You just stare at it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, again, it's not like I enjoy the freaking, like the gory parts and whatnot. It's more like, I want to know like why they did it, or like, you know, like what caused them to do it. And for me, it's just kind of like,
I think true crime freaks me out because it's like too close to home.
Oh, dude, that's what I mean. Like for me, like that's why I feel like a lot of the times, like horror movies nowadays, at least, don't really scare me as much, just because like I listen to all these like true stories and I'm like, brother, like this is more
I don't watch
fucked up.
any horror films that say based off a true story because I'm just like, I'm gonna psych myself out too much.
Fair. I mean, I want to say like whenever they say based on a true story, though, it's always like so embellished and added, and like half the time it's like, yeah, there was a guy actually called this name, but you know, he was like Conjuring 2, like the Enfield poltergeist thing. Yeah. That was just like, I'm pretty sure it just came out that the girl was just like faking it the entire time. And she was just like,
got her bag.
She got the bag. She was like, yeah, secured it.
You do it too for a check.
All. Yeah, fair play. You know what? I respect that. But yeah, I think she was just like a really skilled ventriloquist or something. And she was just able to like do like crazy voices and stuff. And that was it basically. Like there was no like actual supernatural element to it.
That's
and then
weird.
But obviously in the movie they made it seem like freaking there's demons and shit, Valak's out and about, freaking flying things.
I do love a good horror film.
Conjuring might be like Conjuring 1 is one of my favorite horror films of all time.
I think one of my favorite horror films is The Ring.
Which one? The American one or Japanese one?
Oh, the Japanese one is way too scary.
It's okay. The Japanese Ring is exactly what you were talking about American Psycho earlier, where it's like watching it now, it's just kind of funny. It's legit just like, look at this shit.
I think,
look at this dude.
I think the reason The Ring sticks with me is because I watched it way too young.
Yeah, same.
At like a group sleepover, we all thought we were the shit. We were like, let's watch a horror film.
Yeah.
And then I was like insanely freaked out.
Yeah, fair. I mean, Ring, have you seen The Grudge?
Yeah.
The Grudge, I think, disturbed me more as a kid.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I don't remember if it was Grudge 3 or 4 or whatever like number it was. And it was the scene where like the girl was scared or something, so she like put the covers over her head and like in the bed and shit.
Oh,
and it was right fucking there.
The scene you
and you're like, oh
mean.
Jesus! Like that scared the fuck out of me as a kid.
The scene that got me was in The Ring when she's in the shower and like the hair just like
it's a good scene. It's a good scene. Yeah.
Makes your insides go funny.
That's actually one of my lifelong goals, is to make a horror film.
I would love to be a scream queen, so like let's do it.
Like the thing is, the reason why like I haven't done anything or like written anything down is like I feel like horror is just such a hard genre.
A horror film that I saw recently and actually really enjoyed, even though it had very polarizing reviews, was Longlegs.
Yeah, didn't we speak about this last episode?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, despite what people said. I think it's the first good horror film that I've seen in a while.
I've heard that
because it made me feel something.
Okay,
that's what I want. Like I want a horror film to actually scare me and like freak me out a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I'm always looking for that thrill, that adrenaline.
I was on edge the entire film. Like it didn't rely solely on jump cuts and like prosthetics and VFX. Like
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard
it
good
made me
things,
feel like
okay,
like the heebie-jeebies.
To be fair, last episode we were talking about Alien Romulus and that it hadn't been out yet.
Yeah.
I think at that point, and I was like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna watch it. Reviews are coming in now from like trusted people.
I'm gonna see it.
Everyone's saying it's sick.
I'm gonna see it.
Everyone's saying it's amazing, and I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Are you gonna see Trap?
Which one's Trap?
The M. Night Shyamalan one.
What's the premise for this one?
So the premise is that it's actually weirdly based off like the Eras Tour, Taylor Swift, I think. He took inspiration from that.
What?
Where he was like, what if a serial killer was at a concert and the concert itself is a sting operation to catch the serial killer?
Oh my God, this sounds freaking lit.
Yeah.
What?
And so in the trailer, he's like come to this concert with his daughter.
Okay.
And then he notices there's like an increased police presence.
Okay.
And I think he like asks one of the staff there and he's like, yo, like what's going on? This is crazy. Because like the staff just thinks he's like some random girl dad that's brought along his kid.
Yeah.
And then the staff unfortunately goes, you know, that serial killer, the butcher, apparently he's here tonight and they're going to try and catch him. So he's just told the serial killer that this whole stadium, whole concert is a trap for him. Damn. So now it's like it's going to be like this cat and mouse and this like chase between the serial killer and like everyone else in the stadium.
It's a pretty good hook. I'm definitely intrigued.
And apparently he thought about it when like seeing the Eras Tour or something like that.
Yo, M. Night, you need to relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go to a concert, you need to relax, bro.
I mean, I kind of want to see it just because I'm very curious.
I mean, it sounds like a very good premise, to be fair.
It sounds like an interesting premise. I saw M. Night's second to last film, Cabin at the End of the World in the Woods or something.
Okay. I don't think I've seen that one.
It was a bit lackluster.
Nah, M. Night's like, I don't know, man. I feel like M. Night's not really done a good film in a long time.
I enjoy a horror film that calls back to like original myths. So it like really went into like the apocalypse. Like it had the locusts, like the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Shit. Okay.
Like it really lent into like the religious imagery and the lore.
Biblical apocalypse. Okay.
But it just didn't land right.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like I think the ending could have been stuck in a very different way that would have made it like much more impactful.
The general consensus of M. Night's recent films. Everyone always says this doesn't land. Like Old. Wait, was it Old? The one that was set on the beach? Yeah.
I didn't watch that because I knew that would freak me out.
It was like it was a good concept. It was an interesting enough concept, but again, it just felt like
just was a bit flat by the end.
Exactly. Yeah. What else has he done recently? Unbroken, Split, and Glass, like that whole
the trilogy
movie franchise thing. That was like okay.
It's possible.
Like, Split and Unbreakable were good, and Split was like really good and like made even better when at the end you realize it's Unbroken's like sequel. But Glass was ass. Glass was ass.
I actually haven't seen them.
Okay.
Any of them.
Split's interesting.
Is that the one on Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah. James McAvoy.
I feel like I've seen clips.
I think you would like Split. Unbroken, probably skippable. Bruce Willis, love him, but I don't know. It's just him as like a superhero, basically. It's aight. And Glass is just shit. It's just like, I mean, the thing is, like, I feel like with M. Night's films, there's always like a lot of good to it. Like, even in his worst films, there's like amazing elements to it.
Yeah.
Speaking of elements and M. Night, have you seen the last Airbender film that he did?
Yes.
Bruh, that might be one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
We don't acknowledge it. We just don't acknowledge that
what
it exists.
Movie? What movie we talking about?
The only good thing that came out of that was Princess Yue.
True that, to be fair.
Everything else, it didn't happen. Didn't happen.
When there was like 10 earthbenders moving like one pebble. That was good.
What's so crazy as well is that, like, to be honest, the costumes, amazing. The set,
for sure.
amazing.
100%.
The VFX, pretty decent. Just everything
the writing
else
and
was,
everything was
oh
just
my God.
ass. And it's just like, even like some of the casting was really good. Like Dev Patel. Love Dev Patel.
Oh my God, yeah.
So sick. I mean, I watched him since Skins, and
apparently he lives in East London. A couple of my friends have like seen him out and about.
Fair play.
So does Ben Whishaw though.
Yeah, I've seen Ben Whishaw. I used to live near Ben Whishaw. Like, genuinely.
Did you?
Yeah, genuinely, he used to live down the road.
I need to have some decorum because any single time I've seen him, I've been like, oh my God, it's Paddington.
I've seen him so many times. Like, genuinely, like, I don't know. Yeah, I love Ben Whishaw. He's a Q in James Bond as well. Him
and his friend actually came into my boyfriend's store in Shoreditch.
Oh shit!
But funny enough, my boyfriend recognized his friend, not him.
Oh, okay.
Because his friend was in a series that we were watching recently called Slow Horses.
Okay,
which was really good, and the guy seemed pretty psyched that like my boyfriend had recognized him. And
who's
that?
No,
literally been
who's this dude?
He'd been like, "Oh, are you in Slow Horses?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Sick. Okay.
Dev Patel is, I think, he's incredible. Did you see Monkey Man?
I did. What were your thoughts on Monkey Man? Yeah?
I really liked it.
It's funny because, like, Ida picked it to watch for us.
Yeah.
And Ida didn't know the premise or anything like that. And she just thought it was, like, a superhero film with Dev Patel as it. And she thought it was, like, kind of like a Marvel film, I guess. So when we put it on and there was no, I mean, I guess he is like a hero, but it's more like a John Wick.
He was a John Wick
hero. It's more John Wick than, so she was legit like, this is shit. You know, she loves Dev Patel though. So she was like, he's good, but this is shit. Oh my God. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you signed up for this. I'm loving this.
I thought it was really good, but obviously I went in knowing what it would be. So,
I mean, I feel like it was okay. Like, I enjoyed it, but I think it very much was like Dev Patel watched John Wick and was like, guys, we're going to make this, but Indian.
I mean, he saw the vision and he executed it.
And to be fair, I think, he did it really well, to be fair.
I think sometimes you do have to go into films being like, this is probably what it's going to be. If it lands it, sick. That's all you got it. You know?
No, I feel that. Yeah.
That's how I feel with Mamma Mia. Like, I don't go in expecting, like,
art,
cinematic excellence. I mean, it is cinematic excellence.
Cinematic
but, like,
gold.
I go in being like, this is going to be the best 2 hours of my life of ABBA music and British actors on a Greek island. Okay,
yeah, I feel you. What are your thoughts on the, like the ABBA concerts that are like holograms and shit?
I don't know, because the thing is,
I mean, I've never been to one, but I see the posters everywhere in London.
And I think she enjoyed it.
Okay.
But my mum is the target audience for that, so she would enjoy it.
Touché.
But I think I don't really know, because I like Hatsune Miku, and I like Vocaloid, and I like that kind of music. So I feel a bit hypocritical saying that, like, oh, the ABBA thing is like kind of useless, when I literally enjoy the music of like a computer generated blue haired
fair enough
little, like,
fair enough, yeah
little character.
For me, it just feels weird. Like, it just feels like, I mean, I get it, but also, like, those, like,
I think because they are real people that exist and still have the capacity to do live concerts, I think that's when I do have a little bit of an issue. Yeah. Because you know what? Hatsune Miku is literally a bunch of pixels. Like, she couldn't put on a concert if she wanted to, because she doesn't exist. Like, She does, but like not physically.
So, you mean so on the stage? Is it legit just like
It's like a hologram.
It's so
It's
interesting.
really just like
I like the thing is right at a concert. It's not like you can like reach out and like interact with like real life singers anyway. So like I can see why the whole hologram thing works, but again, it just feels like I'm watching a PowerPoint.
That's the thing. I think for me, the thing that kind of irritates me is the lack of live music itself.
Wait, what? So there's no live music?
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I guess like I guess they.
I'm pretty sure it's pretty much just like give
just
or take
recording.
like a play. You know what I mean? Like it's like a what's the word? Like a holographic play. I guess is the best comparison I can make.
It feels weird to me, man. Like
I'm pretty sure it's not live music because that was the thing that I was like, oh, I wouldn't do that because
like then I'm just watching a freaking PowerPoint. Like what? I don't get it. And it's the same as like like the Van Gogh or like there was like interactive immersive like art rooms or exhibitions.
Oh, is it live? Is it a live concert? Because I was under the impression.
Surely there must be some like.
So these singers don't appear in person but have recorded their voices and body movements to be transformed into 3D avatars or avatars, as they call them.
Okay. Oh, avatar. Sorry, I just caught that.
Yeah.
Lol. Okay, so there's no live music at all. There's not even like a backing.
So the live band is like live, like the 10-piece band is live.
Right, that's what I thought, yeah. But they're not.
But the actual vocals aren't.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just a bit like...
that is...
That is the main thing of the show.
And people give shit to singers who like lip sync to like their concerts and stuff. So if this is basically not even that.
I don't really want to... I wouldn't want to pay money to see...
How much are tickets, do you know?
I don't know.
I wonder if they're like... If it's like a tenor, then I'm like, yeah, go on then. But if it's like anything above like a real concert, I'll be like, brother, we're getting scammed.
Let's have a look.
Scamaloo, scamapoo.
I'm having a Google right now.
I'm going to say 32 up.
Okay, let's see if you're right.
I'm going to say, yeah, starting from 32.
What would you say would be like...
Unacceptable.
Like unacceptable.
Anything above 32. No. 70. 110. 90.
So if we wanted to go...
Here we go.
Today, like last minute, 158. And the lowest that I can see on here at the moment, 96.
Okay, what about like... Nah, that's actually...
Let me go for next month. Oh.
Huh.
Oh my God. So like every Friday, Saturday, £127.
Holy... Whoa.
Any other day, £96.
Yo, they are freaking... Nah, that is a scam.
That is a bit mad, I have to say.
I mean, you know what? Fair play to you guys doing that shit, but like, that is a scam.
That's kind of crazy.
But yeah, it's similar to like, those like immersive art, like Van Gogh, like Starry Night, like thingies and stuff. I don't get that either. Like for me, it's a bit weird.
I don't really get them. I've been to one before. It was, fairly enjoyable, but I can't say I was very taken with it.
Right.
And if I'm very honest, I felt like it was insulting, to be honest.
I think so.
It was a nice experience. I went with my family. It was really lovely.
Cute.
But I think art on its own can be enjoyed without having to be, pumped up with lights and
it gives like
dark rooms and stuff. Not to mention they didn't even show any of his real artwork. Like it was all copies. It was all projections. And I completely understand they don't have the budget for the real stuff.
Fair.
But I just, it was nice, but I personally just didn't enjoy it because the soul of the art is no longer there for me.
I feel you, man. Like it feels like I'm going to a projector again. Like I'm seeing a freaking art teacher
just like
slides and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I agree. It's almost like taking out the soul and everything. And I'm just there like, it's giving like, this is interesting actually, because you're obviously like of that generation, but like, recently I was saying like to my friends like, oh, you should check out this. It was basically like House of the Dragon, breakdown analysis videos
Yeah.
and stuff. I love that shit.
Yeah.
But like, there's a guy called Alt Shift X on YouTube. Big shout out to him. Love him. And it's just like his voice basically. And it's just like, you know, scenes from the show.
Oh, I
and yada,
love
yada,
that.
yada. But like, I sent that to a friend and they were like, yeah, I can't focus on shit like this. I was like, oh, what do you mean? It was like, yeah, like it's interesting, but I need like a temple run thing at the bottom. You know, I need like things popping and like things like stimulating me
I will
to
admit,
watch
I
it.
do think my attention span got fried during the pandemic because
Okay.
everyone was so bored. We were all looking for the next dopamine hit, like
I
beyond
guess,
like
yeah.
sourdough bread and like whipped up coffee. We were just like, we were all out here struggling, man.
Fair.
But I
Good
have
old
made a
times.
conscious effort to improve my concentration
Okay.
because I did notice that it was harder to concentrate because of the pandemic. And I think that was also because so COVID hit during my second year of uni.
Damn.
So like my second year was blitzed.
Shit.
My third
you were a
year-
uni kid at freaking COVID?
Yeah, my third year was like pretty hybrid. Like it was a mess, I'm not gonna lie.
I can imagine.
And it was also awkward because a lot of our work then became even more independent than it already was because of the fact we were also isolated. So I had to like really force myself to concentrate and like get on with stuff because otherwise I wasn't going to graduate. Like I was close to dropping out because
Fair.
it was just so difficult to like stay on track without the, you know, pressure of actual physical lecturers, you know,
Yeah.
being there. I will say it is definitely a problem, especially somewhat with Gen Z, but the generation after Gen Alpha,
Gen
they
Alpha.
are so bad.
I can imagine.
So bad.
I've
heard stories from teachers of like friends that are teachers, and it's horrendous. It's like it's really difficult to like literally teach these kids basic things because they just won't concentrate or they won't sit and listen for like more than 5 minutes at a time.
It's
And
scary.
it's because of like TikTok and Reels and everything that it has just like completely fast tracked this like world. You know, I remember back in the day, a 10-minute YouTube video was considered short. Like I remember when like you'd see a 10-minute video and you'd be like, oh, that's so short.
a short video, yeah.
And now, unfortunately,
Fully.
I do feel like my attention span is at the extremes of either I'm really locked in for a long time or it's something short. Like that happy medium, I'm not as
Interesting.
able to sort of sit there as I
Fair.
was before, to be honest.
I mean, that's actually like low key, not even low key, highest key, like scary.
It
like
is.
how Gen Alpha.
I think
and
it's
whatnot
concerning. And I think
onwards.
there is a rise of people in my generation who are like anti-iPad kid.
I mean, I kind of.
We're like,
Yeah.
I know, I
see
think
why,
personally,
though.
so I wasn't allowed a phone until I was like 13.
Yeah, same.
And
Asian parents.
I think it did me a world of good.
Yeah, same.
To be
Fuck
honest.
yeah.
I think at the time I was a bit like, oh, my friends have phones, or my friends have iPod touches, me.
iPod Touch, hell yeah.
But I, you know, made do. And I think it really did help with my development. Like
No, 100.
personally, I do think it did. It forced me to go outside, first of all, climb trees and stuff. Like I did all the old fashioned stuff. And then second of all, I think it taught me to really enjoy the things that I had. So I had a Wii that was incredible.
Best console of all time.
Me and Super Mario Galaxy, always
Best game
and
of all time.
Ever. Please put it on Nintendo Switch.
Dude, oh my god, if Super Mario Galaxy came out on Switch,
So,
I'm buying a Switch.
Do you know what's crazy? They do have it, but you have to buy it in this like massive bundle of like Super Mario stuff. And I'm just like, I just want the
How
Galaxy.
much is the bundle?
It's not worth it. It's like 100
Okay.
something.
I was gonna say like I might buy the bundle just to play Galaxy, but fuck.
No, literally, because I was like tempted and then I saw how expensive it was and I was like,
Damn, okay, fair.
Because also they don't have Super Mario Galaxy 2. They only have Super Mario Galaxy 1
I only
in the
played
bundle.
1 to be fair.
If they had 1 and 2 in the bundle, maybe. Only 1.
Fair.
Anyway, like I said, I learned to appreciate the things that I had. I played in the Wii. I played my DS. I read a lot of books. I think it was better for me.
No, I feel you.
If I had access to like this and my phone and iPad and everything as a young kid,
I can imagine. I mean, like obviously I was like the end of the I was like 1996, so I'm like on the cusp of like Gen Z and millennial.
Yeah.
But like I basically grew up in a world where obviously like, freaking phones and technology was like coming into play, but that was more like when I was maybe middle school.
Yeah.
I'd say like maybe when I was like 15, 16 or so.
See, so I'm old enough that I actually used videotapes when I was really young.
Same, yeah.
But I'm also old enough to remember the switchover. Like, I don't know how it happened or when,
I
but
remember
then
that, yeah.
suddenly my drawers were full of DVDs.
DVDs, yeah.
And not videotapes anymore.
Yeah.
Like projectors were getting replaced with smartboards. And suddenly we had like a computer room.
Yeah.
Which was brilliant, by the way. Like
my dad had those days.
My dad had like his huge desk with his like work stuff, and then I had a little mini desk next to him with like my little like block of a TV, like block, like. Yeah,
I remember, dude. I remember we had Windows 98. We had Windows 98 and then Windows XP. Obviously, that was the shit.
I remember when I played PC games that were on discs.
Yeah, dude. I remember like, I know.
I was really into the Scooby-Doo ones. Yeah. I had a lot of the Scooby-Doo ones.
Brother, don't even get me started on those days.
And I think I remember being in like PC World and I was like begging them for Harvest Moon and they wouldn't buy it for me.
Those are simpler times, man. I remember when Microsoft Paint was like...
Oh, I loved that.
Like... I was like...
Loved a bit of Microsoft Paint.
Doing art on Microsoft Paint, all right? I was like...
Doing the pinball. When they had the pinball game.
Bro, the space pinball game was sick. That was IT class every day.
I'm trying to figure out how to play that.
Yeah, every day at IT class in school, in primary school, was freaking pinball.
I remember when laptops became a thing, and that was really fun because then my friend could come over and play Club Penguin with me.
Club Penguin!
And I would I think we'd figure out who had the laptop and who had the main computer, and we'd play like the card jiu-jitsu but in separate rooms, so like we couldn't see what each other was doing, and then like we'd yell at each other being like, how could you do that?
Oh, sick.
Yeah, simpler times. I miss it.
I miss Club Penguin days, RuneScape.
Pop Tropica.
What the hell is that?
I think Pop Tropica was like my Pop Tropica was so fun.
What was it?
I loved
what did you do?
It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like this world and there's different islands, like so many islands.
Okay.
And you have to complete like the story of that island.
Cute.
So for example, there was like Mythology Island.
Sick.
And you had to collect like all the items and return them to the correct gods.
Oh, okay, that's kind of
cute.
You know what
I mean? And then like it's little side quest things where like, oh, you have to like. So one of them in this was the chicken and the fox with the basket and the hay
cute
riddle, and they get you to solve that so you can get to the other side and get the item that you need to then. It was actually pretty enriching as well. Like it wasn't just a walk around and get groomed. It was like a.
Oh God!
Just saying.
Yeah, fair.
You know what I mean? But it felt more like interactive.
Okay, cute. I mean, I remember like pre-online games. There was like the
Conkers.
Not even what was it? Carmen San Diego. There was oh my God, Carmen San Diego was sick. And then there was like a fish game that like it was like a fish that looked like Flounder in Little Mermaid, but it wasn't Flounder, and she was like a detective or some shit, and you have to like solve underwater mysteries, like who stole the conch, dun, 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 dun. And it's like one of those like, you know, those like PC games meant for like kids. Oh my God. It was like the only game we had.
I had a really random Beauty and the Beast game with like the most cursed graphics imaginable. Like, you know, when it's like really like boxy and pixelated. I remember playing it and being like, I learned the word thrice from it.
Nice, very nice.
One of the riddles was like, you have to press this thrice, and I was like, what does thrice?
What does that mean?
Being like 6, and I was like, what does thrice mean?
Bless. No, I do look back on those days. Like I remember, like VHS tapes, like going to the Blockbuster, renting movies and stuff for the weekend, and watching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Oh, good times. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Gen Alpha attention spans
I do genuinely worry for them.
Yeah, it is worrying.
I am actually quite concerned.
It's very, very worrying. I can't lie.
I think especially because my generation was damaged enough with like Tumblr and like the introduction of Instagram.
Yeah.
Like we have already kind of seen how much the internet can, you know,
For sure.
be a detrimental impact on impressionable young folks.
Mm.
And now with TikTok and Reels and like these never ending social media like platforms, I do think it's concerning. Like I think the thing that I saw, you know, there's a lot of like discourse or articles, whatever we want to call it. There's no third spaces anymore for kids to be kids. There are no third spaces purely for little kids or like children or tweens to be tweens.
Interesting.
It's like there's no awkward middle ground anymore between childhood and trying to be a teenager that acts older than you actually are.
True.
Because, you know, like when I was like 13, 14, like I could go to the park. I could go to like the cafe down the road and it would be cheap because that's what it was at the time. Like I could just get like a hot chocolate or whatever and just sit with my friends.
Yeah.
Or I could go online to Club Penguin and like Movie Star Planet and all of that kind of rubbish. But they don't have that anymore.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? There's no healthy spaces for them to be awkward tweens that don't know how to navigate life. They just have to know it already. Yeah. And then they're being, you know, pumped with this content of like influencers that have their life together and like grown adult women, you know, wearing makeup and looking fabulous. For sure. And they just think that that's what they have to be immediately.
There's that whole aspect as well where like, kids just grow up so fast now and it's just like insane. Like you've got like boys and girls like that are like 12 or whatever and they speak as if like, you know, they're adults, you know, when you see like those like on street interviews and stuff on like TikTok or like Reels and like
I avoid them.
Oh god, it's just so cringe
so much.
when it's like a 10-year-old kid just like, my man's got the ops. And then you're like, what do you mean, bro? Like go back home and play Game Boy.
It's actually crazy because like it's the school holidays, right? And I had a curfew, like every child did. Like I had a curfew. And I was walking home, like, you know, with my boyfriend. It was really late. It was like 1:30 a.m.
Okay.
Absolutely just gangs and gangs of kids out and about. Like they couldn't have been older than like 14. And I was just like, where are their parents? Yeah. It's like, as well, especially in a city, like I was in the sticks in the suburbs, like not a lot was going on.
Yeah.
But they're just like loitering in like these spaces because they don't have anywhere to go or things to do. There's nothing for them to do beyond scroll on TikTok or go out.
True. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are things for them to do. Like the things are still there. I think it's just like, I don't know, like obviously like I'm not a parent. So we're not parents, so we don't know how to like
I miss youth
teach
clubs.
Our kids and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it is definitely like worrying and stuff, like how fast like kids have to grow up. And like you said, there's none of these spaces for them and things for them to do. But maybe like,
I mean, I do think we just have a genuine lack of third spaces in general.
Touche.
Like places that you can go without spending money is what I mean.
Touche. Yeah. I kind of get what you mean. Yeah.
I've got a library, thank God, but like, where else?
It's so true, man.
Like,
bro, I don't even know where is there a library here?
Like, you got a library,
yeah.
Or you have to pay membership somewhere. You have to buy a coffee somewhere. You have to, you know, just pay to exist.
I guess it's like, I mean, I'm trying to think like what I used to do at that age, like, you know, the tween age and stuff. And I think it very much was like, we just, you know.
You were an instant messenger at that age. MySpace.
Good old days. Not to be fair, like when I was tween, I don't think like we didn't really spend that much time like on the internet. We were just like, we gamed. We gamed a lot.
Yeah.
We gamed a lot. We played on like PSP. That was like Monster Hunter days. So like, we'll usually just like go over to someone's place, like a friend's place, and we all just sit there and we're either like having a LAN party or like or just watching movies?
Oh, for us, it was always like drawing straws to see who could get the wheel for the Wii remote for Mario Kart. Because we only had like 2 wheels, but like if there was
such a real struggle.
If there were like 4 of us, we would all be like, I want the wheel, no, I want the wheel. And it's just like, you've got to do rock, paper, scissors for it.
I remember it got to a point where I thought that like the wheel's sick, obviously, like like bada bing, bada boom. But I think that I played better without the wheel. I remember it got to that point where in the group we were just like, I don't need the wheel, man.
My brother played with the nunchuck, which I thought was bizarre. I didn't like it. I was like, that's weird, but you do you.
So like what, Mario Kart with a nunchuck?
Yeah, like
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, there is a way to play it with a nunchuck.
That's interesting, huh?
Like, it was always, or like when you're recalibrating them and you're like pressing 1 and 2 as quick as you can, so like you're the first player.
Bruh, I remember like the Wii was just like, you don't really have like, I don't know. I feel like nowadays, like there's less, I don't know, like it's
community or like
maybe like, I mean, I'm sure there is, right? I think like obviously friends still meet up and do shit, but it's like you said, it's just like they just do different things now, and like they do more adult things now. And I think it's like you said, it's because they're exposed to TikTok and Reels and videos of like, you know, what is deemed as cool or what is deemed as like normal or you know, trendy or whatever. So they feel like they need to do that as well. So you've got like, I mean, there's obviously peaks and troughs, like pros and cons. I think like, I'm trying to think of a pro right now, but I'm sure there is.
All I know is that if I had to grow up during, I'd have been cooked. I would have not.
I'm cooked.
I would have not made it past like 17. Like, ugh,
I feel
I'm
you, dude.
out.
I don't know. I think it's just like, I mean, just go home and game, just go home and game, guys. Legit, just game. Problem solved. But speaking of games, segue. We do have a little game that we can play for like the final 10 minutes.
Oh gosh.
And this is a thing called Games for Grownups.
Oh dear.
Because we're grown-ups now. And it's 40 activities to deepen and enliven friendships. It's by the School of Life. So like
we're not really strangers.
I actually play this like every now and then, again on shoots and stuff.
Okay.
So it's one of those kind of things.
Okay.
But
okay. I'm down.
Basically, like, each card has its own little mini game.
Okay.
Okay. So, for example, right? Our friends aren't united by shared interests or affection, but by the particular time that we happen to be living through. Our bonds are shaped by our shared experience of our past and present. As a group, suggest nominations for the following categories. Most significant historical event to occur in our lifetime. Greatest achievement of our generation. Biggest tragedy to occur in our lifetime. And the greatest failing of our generation. So first one, most significant historical event to occur in our lifetime.
9/11.
Yeah, it probably is 9/11.
Immediately, that was like the first thing that came to mind because like there's what else can
it did change everything.
Like what else can you say? Like what else compares to that?
The rise of the internet. Social media, maybe.
Yeah.
Like Facebook was what, 2005?
Yeah, that is also kind of crazy.
Obviously there was MySpace and stuff, but yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to like spitball ideas here. Like I think 9/11 probably does take the cake, but I'm trying to think like what else.
Yeah, so 9/11, the rise of the internet, maybe the Queen dying. That was like a pretty big thing.
Yeah, it was pretty big, but at the same time, like
it wasn't like.
Yeah, I mean, it's big. Don't get me wrong. It's like
but
a
like when you
event,
compare it to like 9/11.
Yeah, legit. Like 9/11's like here and like rip, but like Queen's like I'm trying to think like what other like historic like big events have happened in our lifetime.
I can only think of sad ones, which is really bad.
I mean, yeah, but most significant. You know, I mean, obviously we've got like wars going on. We've got like genocides going on. So, you know, there are a few for sure. I want to say 9/11 might be it.
I think 9/11 just is the winner, unfortunately.
Yeah. Most significant, at least. Like it was like, Obviously,
I think you just changed everything.
for sure. Obviously, you could argue that like, oh, that's like probably the biggest in like the Western hemisphere and like the Western world, but yeah.
But I think it had the
9/11.
biggest knock-on effect. Even if it was in the Western hemisphere, it changed the way the international relations were going to be like forever.
I feel you. COVID.
Oh God. I feel like we all just try and collectively forget
COVID
about
might be there. COVID's a big one.
I think COVID will be the next, like, it will go down in history, of course, in the history books.
I think COVID's like...
Because that was really unprecedented.
Because, like, we have had, like, especially in Hong Kong,
God, we've been through it, like...
For sure.
9/11, COVID.
Yeah, but then our grandparents went through more, to be fair. World War II, Cold War, Vietnam.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they went through the shit. And, like, if they're, like, really old, like...
People landing on the moon.
Landing on the moon, yeah, that was big.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. I don't know, COVID or 9/11, which do you think was, like, more, like...
Okay, so for our generation, COVID. But as a whole, if we're talking about the time that we've been alive,
probably 9/11. Touche, yeah. Because, like, to be fair, like, in Hong Kong, there were, like, mini pandemics. Like, the SARS pandemic was really big, and we did have, like, a lockdown as well. Maybe not as, like, strict, but there were, like, precursors to COVID. So when COVID did hit, for me, it was less of, like, okay, it's kind of like what happened with SARS. But yeah, I think you're right. Like, for our generation, probably COVID, but
in
lifetime,
general,
9/11.
Our lifetime, it would be 9/11.
Greatest achievement of our generation. Or, like, our generations, I guess.
The rise of the internet.
Was that our generation?
Well, cultivation.
Arguably, yeah. I see what you mean, yeah.
And
okay,
betterment of internet and using internet spaces, basically, I think.
I had
and utilizing the big Wi-Fi for the world.
I feel that. And that kind of goes with a friend of mine said that it's the rise of
instant communication as well.
Instant communication, yeah, that is a very big thing for sure.
Brilliant,
yeah.
The fact that you can talk to people
100, like your family
on the other side of the world within
sure.
seconds.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But he was saying, kind of like with the rise of the internet, we also had the rise of like the artist or like the creative almost, where anyone and everyone can do anything now.
It became a lot more accessible.
Yeah,
like the
for
internet
sure.
became everyone's world.
So yeah, I feel you. The cultivation of the internet is probably one of our biggest achievements for sure. I'm trying to think what else we've done. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah. Barbenheimer.
Like,
yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, this was a sad one. Biggest tragedy to occur in our lifetime.
oh, there's so many.
I mean, I guess it kind of coincides with what we said earlier, to be fair.
Yeah.
9/11, COVID.
9/11, COVID,
The wars.
and genocides
Yeah,
that are
the
going
genocides.
on. I will say a general failing that I think will impact us for years to come. AI.
Interesting.
I am not anti-AI. I appreciate that AI is also just like a very vague umbrella term that,
Fair.
Can cover many things.
Yeah.
But I think AI that seeks to replace creatives and seeks to replace art should not exist.
Agreed.
It thrives and builds off of stealing
Agreed. Facts.
real art.
There we go.
And it's just cheap and soulless to get some computer to recreate what a human can already do because you'd rather not pay the human. I just completely disagree with it. Like,
A to the fucking men.
I think AI that has been, utilized for research, for betterment of like medicine, for improving. I think AI that improves life and is there to help. Completely understand that.
100.
I get that. In what world does seeking to replace human art better
100%.
us? I don't think it.
Hard agree. I feel like AI does have a place, and there are definitely multitude of ways where you can utilize.
It's like the tweet
AI.
that's like, I want AI to tell me when to do my laundry and how to do my dishes,
fair.
and check off lists for me when I've forgotten them.
Mm.
I don't want AI to give me shitty art that's ripped off some artist that I already love.
There we go. 100.
And also the use of AI that is very dangerous in terms of like deep fakes. And
yo, that's a whole Pandora's box of shit as well.
Terrifying.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Because it's not going to be used for ethical purposes.
100%.
We already can see where this is going to go.
Yeah. You can deepfake voices,
it's like
deepfake everything. Yeah.
Trolley of destruction that we can already see coming.
Dude,
and
facts.
I don't
have
know
we not watched Terminator? Have we not watched enough of these apocalypse movies?
Like, I don't know what's going to slow it down or stop it even. Because it's just already like it's getting scary to the point where people are recreating videos of celebrities and it's
saying
uncannily accurate.
Legit,
and it's awful.
Yeah.
It's going to do awful things for crime.
Dude, 100%, dude. 100%.
Like crimes of any kind.
Yeah, 100. Like, yeah.
I just think it needs to be regulated as soon as possible.
For sure.
I think it needs to be regulated. It needs, not necessarily controlled, but it just...
For sure, man. Like, I feel like AI...
There needs to be measures in place to make people feel safe in this, like, new world.
I'm gonna... Thankfully, there was no NDA up for this shit.
Oh, God.
But there was like this project I was working on with a notable artist and musician.
Yeah.
And there was another photographer that was on this project. And basically, they asked me to come in quite late into the project, basically. They were like, oh, Seb, can you help us like edit these elements and like make it look good, basically, because we've started it, but it's not hitting.
We need a little bit more.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, say less. And then I go in and then I see the image, I see the concept, I see the elements. I'm like, all right, say less. This is really cool. I like the idea. I start like drawing it and illustrating it because it was an illustration job. And then the guy basically uses AI to generate like versions of it, sends it to me, and like this is like a shared email thread.
Oh my God.
And he's just like, yeah, actually, I think why don't we like do something like this or something like this? And then I was just like, okay, I guess like I can use that as reference. I was already like feeling really iffy about it. I was like, okay, this guy just like put in a fucking prompt. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll use that as like reference or whatever. And then I would send it back and bada bing, bada boom. And it would keep on like, actually, nah, I think I prefer the way the AI looks. Can you make it like less like AI-y? And I was like, because you know how like when you zoom in, you get like all the artifacts. And I was just like, okay. And then he was just like, no, why don't you actually use the AI bit, but just like clean it up? And I was just like, brother, this is shit. And I was fully just like
noped out of it.
I was legit like, brother, you're like fully just using AI now. And then looking deeper into like some of the pre-existing elements that I was given, I realized that those were AI generated as well. So this creative that was brought on just AI'd everything more or less. Like, yeah, maybe the idea wasn't AI, but and I legit just said like, okay, I wash my hands of this.
You just got to nope out at that point.
I was legit just like, right, cool.
There's no way.
I legit like sent off my illustration and I was just like, right, take me off the name, take my name off. I don't even want to be involved.
I don't want to be attached.
Like originally before I was like, cause in my contract and shit, I have like very strict terms of like my name being like mentioned. And I fully just said,
waived it.
We can omit all of that.
We can waive this. Yeah, legit.
I was like, yeah, we're good.
Out.
And yeah, but yeah, that whole episode was crazy. But like, yeah, I agree, man. I think like AI, when it's like taking the job of a human, is just unnecessary. We don't need it.
I get like crunching numbers.
Yeah, there's so many ways. Yeah, so many ways to use it.
But you know, there's ways in which AI has kind of bled into the creative world that I really don't like ChatGPT, like, or like people thinking that they can write academic essays.
Oh God, yeah,
and, like,
the obvious ChatGPT written essays and shit.
And like, I really enjoy actually writing essays. Like I like writing.
Sick.
And the idea of something just taking the joy out of it for me is just like really sad, and also just like it's not real. Like that's not.
It's just, I mean, you're just cheating. Let's
and
be
not
real.
to mention ChatGPT, like it's hilarious, like the random facts that it just makes up, and people are now accepting it. Like the misinformation that is being created and perpetuated as real is another issue in itself. And then I know that during the SAG-AFTRA strikes, there was like the whole AI thing that I think was like, I'm so glad that they fought for that, because it would have had awful ramifications.
Yeah. I mean, just like, I mean,
I hate like signing, you know, contracts for usage in perpetuity as is, but I say yes. Yeah. I say yes, you know, because normally it'll be for archives. And if they stipulate that that's what it's for, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fair, because like I'm going to be in the archives of this brand or whatever. Like that's fine. But even then, like it makes me nervous, because it's like they don't have to pay me anymore once they've like given me this buyout. Like they could use my images over and over again, and I don't have any control or say in it.
Yeah.
So the idea that someone could AIify me and just use it for the rest of time and not have to ever pay me again is like really scary.
Terrifying.
It's really scary, and it's also just like really disappointing.
100%.
The fact that companies don't want to pay people anymore.
It's just, legit. Like
we struggle enough as it is in a creative industry to like drum up the right budgets and to make the correct negotiations. It's a very delicate balancing act with all of that. But when you add AI into the mix, it just makes it so much worse, because then these people are like, oh, why should we pay you? We can just get AI to do it. And I'm like,
we just create a fake human being. You're like, oh God.
Okay.
Nah, I agree. I think like AI definitely has a place in the world for sure. Yeah. And it's here. Like, you know,
I don't want to demonize it, because I do think that, you know, AI as an umbrella term, you know, covers a lot of things.
For sure.
But AI itself does have room to exist in the world, and you know it can help many things in many different areas.
Yeah. Just keep it out of creative shit, man.
The way that it's being, you know, utilized in the mainstream currently as well is just, I think, very scary and disappointing.
No, 100%. Yeah. Well, we made it to the AI. So at some point, everyone talks about AI. I guess. Oh, this is interesting. I guess it goes hand in hand. Greatest failing of our generation. AI, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we can probably say was a failing of our generation? There's loads of, obviously, from previous generations I can name, climate change and whatnot.
I do have an opinion, but I'm gonna keep it to myself.
What? You can't say that.
Because like, okay, you'll have to cut this, because this could this could make
redacted. Yeah, we cut that shit out. It's all good. But fair, I agree. But that was Games for Grownups. I guess we'll bring it back for like future episodes as well. And that wraps up today's episode. And let us know in the comments below if you have any ideas for guests and things we can do, games, questions, I don't know, all that shit. But as always, I've been your boy Seb.
I'm Mia.
Bye.